All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's the regular council meeting, February 22nd, 2022. I am Vice Mayor Kiana Trabue, standing in for our Mayor Brian Poole, who's under the weather this evening. I'm going to ask Ms. Boyd if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, the Republic,
which stands
one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with
liberty
and
justice for all.
Thank you. If you could, we can all bow our heads for a short invocation, please. Dear Lord, we come to you this evening asking you for your many blessings as we do the work of the village of Woodlawn. We ask that you shine some light on our Mayor Poole as he is feeling under the weather this evening, and hope to heal him as quickly as possible. We also ask that you help us to lead this meeting effectively and efficiently so that we can do the work of the village to the best of our ability. All these things we ask in your son, Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Roll call, please.
Yes. Esther Boyd,
present.
Rosemary Brown,
Present.
Cindy Chandler,
Present.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Present.
Robert Lawson will be here soon. Kiana Trabue,
Present.
Mayor Poole is absent.
Make a motion that we excuse Mayor Poole from the meeting tonight.
I'll second it.
Okay, all ayes.
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Okay, next we'll have the reading and disposal of the previous minutes. We have the minutes from the regular council meeting from January 25th, as well as the minutes from the special council meeting on February 17th. You could just take a few moments to read those over, and then we'll need a motion to approve the minutes for each of those meetings.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular council meeting, January 25th, 2022.
I'd like to second that motion.
All ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Special council meeting.
Make a motion for the approval of the special council meeting minutes from February 17th, 2022.
I'll second it.
All ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. I don't see a need to approve or amend tonight's agenda. Are there any appointments, confirmations, or presentations?
There are none.
Any petitions or comments from the public?
None.
Okay, so we have a Finance Committee report. Ms. Brown, can you please share?
Yes. Finance met on the 17th of February at 7 p.m. And then we got a report from our income tax report from Mr. Willis. The village collected $616,307.30 in taxes related to the month of January. And of that, $80,387,091 goes towards the road taxes. I'll just give just a brief synopsis of the road tax. Since the inception of 2019, we've collected $2,292,418, some 86 cents. Of that, since the inception, the disbursement is $778, $941.22. That leaves us a balance of $1,513,477.64. A brief finance update. Appropriations and revenues report as of January 31st, the village has collected some 6% of the budgeted revenues and expended 5% of the appropriations. Receipts and expense reports for the month of January, the village collected $585,551.23 and have dispersed $471,438.20. And that's just a brief overview of our finances. Our finance director will be more in detail.
Thank you. All right, next we have the municipal manager's report. Mr. Turley.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, council members. We'll start with
evening.
building security. Work has begun changing the locks and adding the card readers to the municipal and public works buildings. If we remember, this was undertaken so that we can increase building security by not giving out actual physical keys. That way, if it becomes necessary in order to limit someone's access to the building, then we can just turn their card off. But I believe we're looking at a 30 to a 45-day horizon for that work is complete. And then I will let you know when we will start distributing the cards so that you can access whatever building that you need to get into. Employee IDs, after further research, we've found out that we cannot combine the ID cards and the access cards. So all village employees are required to carry the ID card. And in this instance, you'll have to carry both your ID and your access card in order to get into the building and properly identify yourself if needed as a village employee. The municipal building reorganization or organization and decluttering continues. Right now, I've got quotes, vendors coming in, giving quotes on building the wall so that we can have an actual conference room and a break room with tables where employees can eat their lunch. So that is ongoing. I actually have a vendor coming in, I believe, tomorrow to give us a quote. The employee engagement survey will be conducted in the first 2 weeks of March. The purpose behind the survey is to get a temperature on the employees, what they feel is working for the village, what they feel is not working, and how I can give them what they need in order for them to serve the residents better for the village of Woodlawn. The whole reason that we're here is to be as efficient as we can and effective in delivering public services to our residents. And knowing getting them engaged is actually to our benefit. And that's what the employee engagement survey will accomplish. After giving the survey, I'll wait for another maybe 12 months, and then I'll give the survey again to see if we're improving. And then that way, again, to try to create that culture of accountability that we need and that striving for excellence that we all desire. The website rebuild continues. Next council meeting, most likely, that's the plan, is we're going to present a contract with Civic Plus, and they will start the refresh once we get that signed, and that's going to take between 3 to 6 months. So in between that time, I will work with our current vendor to make sure that our current website is updated. But I do look forward to all of the new ability that we'll have to engage with the public using the new website and the tools that Civic Plus brings to the table. The performance management system is currently on hold. We have some issues with Paycom that need to be resolved. Now, this does not mean that we're not going to begin the employee evaluations. It's just that we won't be able to use the computer for them. We will have to start with good old-fashioned pencil and paper. And then once we work out those issues with Paycom, which I'm sure we will, then we can migrate to a computer platform, which will better serve us as far as storing the evaluations and archiving those records so that we can use them in order to make sure that our employees are trained properly. And again, going back to that culture of accountability and professionalism. The road and sidewalk projects, we now have a new village engineer. Just recently had a meeting with them about the safe routes to school. We've identified 7 projects, and March 4th is the deadline that we have to apply for those. And we have legislation coming up to council tonight to apply for that grant. Very, very positive feeling with CT Consultants. They seem to be very detail oriented, and they also come to the table and advise us on directions to go. And it's also something they've done before. So I'm very optimistic about our new relationship with our new village engineer. The AFG grant, we're still apply for it for the 30 sets of fire protective gear and the SAFER grant as well. We've applied for that to fund 5 full-time firefighters. And those announcements are usually made a little bit later in the year. The volunteer process for the fire department is up and running. We currently have 12 volunteers, and over the weekend, 2 of those volunteers kept us from calling in overtime, which kept the fire department in service, but also saved the village money. So I'm optimistic about how our staffing using volunteers and part-time workers is going to make us more efficient while we still maintain the level of service that we need. The SBA cascade system for the fire department is scheduled. The infrastructure for a serval is going to be put into play Thursday, March 24th. And then Breathing Air, who's the vendor that will install the system, they have given us a date of around mid-May. Also with the station exhaust system, we are still waiting for a timeline on when that will be installed. I'll keep you updated on that. Public Works. So Public Works, we're making some really good strides. As you know, this last snowstorm showed that we have some work to do with facilities, with equipment maintenance, with training. Today, myself included, and the entire Public Works Department attended a snow and ice removal training that was provided by the Ohio Department of Transportation. And it was an excellent, informative seminar. They had a veteran, a 30-year veteran from ODOT who drove snowplows. He conducted the training, and he went through everything from equipment to safety to maintaining that equipment and the newest and the greatest and the latest, and also just how you can become more efficient, more effective, and cost-effective at removing snow and ice from the roads. It's important to realize that for our Public Works Department, the most important job they do, as far as public safety is concerned, is removing the snow and the ice from the roads during a storm. That's for industry, that's for the public safety services so they can get through to the residents, and that's to the residents so that they can get back and forth to work. It is a vital task and something that I'm dedicated that we will improve with when we have the right equipment, we maintain that equipment, we get the proper training, and it all comes together. So we're working towards that. Also, just on a housekeeping point of view, there were 2 trucks that sat at the Public Works Department for one since 9/11. So that was the motor was blown in that truck over 20 years ago. It's gone. There was another medic unit or an ambulance that was there for a while. It's gone. There's another truck that we need to get rid of. And we're going to take the space that we free up, and we're going to be able to store more salt so that we can increase our supplies when we have another ice storm. The Riddle Road Bridge, we know that it did not qualify for OWPC funding this time around. I talked to the gentleman from the county, Fred Schlimm. He stated that they're going to apply for that again this year. And if they get it, construction should begin around 2023, and it will take about a year, so it'll conclude in 2024. Redna Terrace and Chester Road are going to put those out to bid again using our new village engineer, CT Consultants. And they're also going to create a strategic road plan where we can identify those critical roads, prioritize them, and then set a time horizon where we can get them paved, and any infrastructure work that needs to be done while we're repaving, we'll also take care of that. Pivot, it will start March, cleaning the municipal building, and the same with Woodstock, Timberland, and Ronnie, those roads. CT Consultant is going to rebid those roads as well. At the barbecue property, the tanks are out. They cost us a little bit more money because the tanks were bigger than were previously expected. That happens when you're dealing with something that's been underground for 40 to 50 years. But the tanks are out, it's clean, and we are awaiting on a word about a grant to demolish the buildings. Under the terms of the grant, we cannot start demolishing it until they have made their decision. So if we begin work now, then we disqualify ourselves from that money, and we don't want to do that. Still working with the company for the municipal building generator. So no real update on that. Same with Great Parks. I believe Tim might have some information on the Springfield Pike revitalization grant, the security cameras at the pool and around the village. We have a few that need to be installed. Had a meeting with ADT and with Chief Tillman from the police about that. That project is well along. Those cameras should be up and operating by the time the pool is in service. Baldwin Software, they have completed the conversion to Baldwin Software. From what I understand, they're very pleased with it. And right now, the Bridgepoint payment system is up and running, and every day we are receiving online payments using that system. And then Harmony Park, we're still waiting for a begin date now that we have CT Consultants on board. And then also to see if we get the grant so that we can expand beyond just the phase 1 in Harmony Park. But other than that, there is no update on that. Outside of the report, I'd just like to say that a couple of the residents during the rainstorms contacted me regarding the floods, and Donald Crawford, who is, our interim director of public works, and I, we went out and we visited them, and they explained, problems they've had for years, right? So we're documenting those, and we're going to take our village engineer, and especially if we're going to be doing work on that street, we're going to make sure that any work we do, and maybe we can't solve the complete problem because the topography is very challenging, but we can do whatever it is that we can, that we're able to, especially when we're repaving a street, to make sure that the infrastructure can facilitate as much water as possible. But we hear your concerns, we feel for you, and we're going to do what we can. Like I said, can't promise anything because we're fighting against Mother Nature, right? But I can promise that we will talk to the engineers and see if there's anything that we can do. Other than that, that's it for the village manager's report.
Thank you. I see Mr. Lawson, you had your hand up.
Mr. Lawson.
Yeah, nice report, Mr. Turley. We appreciate you having you on our team right now.
Well, thank you.
Just a quick question. It's about the barbecue property on Springfield Pike.
Mm-hmm.
You indicated that the tanks were a little bit bigger than what was actually thought. Now, how much longer will it be before you hear something back as far as the demolition of the building is my question.
You know what, I have to check with them on the timeline of when they're going to award those grants. And I'll do a follow-up email to get an exact date for you.
Because the reason why I say that, I'm just curious, it's kind of been an eyesore in our community for a while since that place has been down. And I would like to get a date on it, because if the grant is going to be longer than what needs to be done, maybe we can come up with something else. I don't really want to talk too much on that issue right now, but just a time frame, because we do want to get rid of that eyesore.
I agree with you. Yes, I'll get a date and I will send an email out to the group as soon as I get that information.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Any more questions?
Ms. Fitzgerald had her hand up, and then I see Ms. Brown.
Yes, I have a question. You mentioned that you were able to get rid of some of the older trucks that were at Public Works. And I would just like to know, did we donate those trucks, or what happened with those trucks, the process, I guess, with those trucks?
So we had Millennium tow them away. Basically, there was no worth. The engine was dead in the one. It had sat out in the weather for 20 years. It was just something that we gave to Millennium. And they're the same with the ambulance. They towed them away. I'll have to check and see if it was a nominal fee, but it wasn't much, but it was just more to clear the space because there was no worth to them. Now, one truck there, we think that we might be able to trade it in because I believe it's running. So we're going to try and get some money for that. And then there's another garbage truck that's there that we can actually still use. And we're just going to use that for odd jobs as long as we can keep it running. But we'll make sure it's maintained. But the other trucks, they were just, they were worthless.
I also have a second question too, and that was in regards to the employee IDs. You mentioned that the village employees must carry 2 cards. Can I ask what company you use for the employee IDs? And I know just from some of my experience, it's usually one ID that has your picture on the front and your ID is embedded in it. So I was just wondering why you went that direction.
So right now we're using an ADT in order to do the security, of course. And then the ID company that we use, we work through the police. So we don't have our own machine. And I can get more information from Chief Tillman, but we get the IDs, we take the pictures here, and then we send them out to be made.
Okay. Great, thank you.
And ADT would have to, since it's their security system, the ID would have to work with ADT in order to get that chip to work.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Ms. Brown?
Yeah, for some reason or another, my computer froze up when you were talking about Harmony Park. And
Okay.
you went on, you were speaking about a street.
So there's not much. We're just waiting to find out if we get the grant for Harmony Park so that we can expand it beyond phase 1. We're going to start phase 1, but now the streets, I had mentioned, I talked about Woodstock, Timberland, and Ronnie, but that was just in relation to have CT rebidding those so that we can make sure that when we do them correctly. And get the infrastructure right. So not only do they have the necessary water mains, the necessary fire hydrants, but then also that they can handle, they may not be able to handle all of the stormwater that comes down those hills, but at least they should be able to handle as much as possible. So we're going to do the redesign is the right way, right?
Okay, I didn't know if there was something else.
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
All right.
Any other questions?
I just had one question related to the employee engagement survey.
Yes.
Are you working with an outside agency to conduct that survey, or would that be handled internally?
So I'm working with NKU because that's my capstone project. So
sounds
yes,
good.
Yes. So, and you will all be getting announcements because I walk in May for my MPA. So that'll be
awesome.
my master's in public administration.
Great. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Any
Anything
other
else?
questions for Mr. Turley? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to the finance director's report.
Thank you. I think between Ms. Brown and Mr. Turley, they took most of the information I would get to provide. So thank you for that. Let's see, I do know that Mr. Turley mentioned the Springfield Pike Revitalization Grant. I am in the process of contacting the group that oversees that grant. Originally, they had sent the grant contract to us, and it was very specific in the properties we would be able to acquire. We asked for a more generalized contract. I know they were working on that. My hope is that they will go ahead and send us a new contract so that we can approve that as part of legislation at the March meeting. Other than that piece of business, I think the only things I really have left are to ask for the approval of the receipt listing and the payment listing, as well as the reports, the financial reports for the Woodlawn Special Improvement District and the Village of Woodlawn itself.
Great. Thank you, Tim. All right, can we have, I'm sorry, were you getting ready to say something else?
No.
Okay. Can we have a motion for approval of the bank reconciliation receipt listing and payment listing?
So move. Motion.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Roll call.
Just want to do a motion, so all eyes on that one.
Okay. All
Aye.
ayes.
Excuse me.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. And then we also, Tim, help me out just a bit. You said we need a motion for approval of the village financial reports. Is that accurate?
The Village of Woodlawn financial statements and the Village of Woodlawn Special Improvement District financial statements.
Thank you. So we'll need a motion for approval of the Village of Woodlawn financial statements and the Village of Woodlawn Special Improvement District report.
I'd like to make a motion for the approval of Village of Woodlawn. Help me out.
Financial statements.
Financial statements and
Special
Village of
Improvement
Woodlawn.
District.
Woodlawn Special Improvement District. Thank you.
Second.
All ayes.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is Law Director's Report. We have Michelle Reed here standing in for Emily. I know we have some legislation later on, but is there anything else to report from Law?
Not at this time, and thank you guys for having me. Pleasure to meet everyone.
Likewise.
Thank you. So for the mayor's report, I don't have much to share. We will need an approval of the mayor's court monthly statement, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Just wanted to acknowledge that it is February, which is Black History Month. Black History Month was officially recognized in 1976 through an order from President Gerald Ford to honor the contributions and legacy of Black Americans to our society. So we definitely want to acknowledge Black History Month. We know that Paula Sherman and the team at the Recreation Center have a lot of events happening this month to celebrate Black history. And so I'd like to also ask Councilmember Chandler to share a Black History Month quote.
Yes, thank you. And I found this quote very appropriate because we are public servants. So I'll jump right into it. The time is always right to do what is right. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Great, thank you. Powerful quote, and as you mentioned, very relevant to the work that we do on behalf of the village. I believe Ms. Sherman has joined the meeting, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any information about Black History Month programming or to direct the public where they can go to find out information about the programming if you are here.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Kiana. Yes, so on this coming Saturday from 1 to 7 p.m., we're going to have our Black Wall Street. If you're not familiar with Black Wall Street, it's the group of individuals who were in Oklahoma and have a self-sustaining community. So what we're going to be doing, we'll have vendors, not only merchandise vendors, but we're going to have organizations there talking about health. We'll have the Black Nurses Association. We'll also have a cancer awareness group there, a health and wellness group from UC. We'll have some financial planners, some real estate officers, and we'll have some other businesses and organizations. So it won't just be vendors. There'll be vendors there, but it'll be a lot of fun. We're also having discussions on the state of the Black arts in Cincinnati, the state of Cincinnati with Iris Rowley and with Fernand Rucker. They will be here doing a discussion on just the crime, gun violence, how we can make improvements. We're also having a discussion from, I think, a Woodlawn native, maybe, Charles Wiley, who has created or invented an some type of necklace or device that you can wear that it's supposed to keep you from catching the virus. So it'll be nice to listen to him and how he came up with his invention. But we'll also have some natural pathologics individuals here as well. We'll have conscious mind, counseling services will be here as well. And then we'll have some economic empowerment individuals talking. So it's just very informational, just giving everyone the opportunity to become more self-aware and to just be self-empowered too as well, and to support each other as Black businesses in the city of Cincinnati and abroad. So thank you.
Thank you, Paula. So again, that's the Black Wall Street is this Saturday, February 26th from 1 to 7 p.m. So we just invite everybody to come out and support and take advantage of those great resources and information that will be shared. Okay, so we do need a motion to approve the mayor's court monthly statement in the amount of $27,944.50.
I make a motion that we approve the mayor's court monthly statement.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been moved and seconded. Monica, do we need a roll call on this one or is it an all ayes?
All eyes.
Okay, all ayes.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you. So we do have one piece of legislation that comes before us this evening. Michelle?
Hi, everyone. We have tonight the Village of Woodlawn, Ohio Resolution Number 19/2022. It is a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to submit an application for funding through the Ohio Department of Transportation Safe Routes to School program.
Thank you. Can we get a motion for approval of resolution number 19/2022?
I'd like to make a motion for approval of resolution 19/2022.
I second.
Okay, roll call.
Esther Boyd,
Aye.
Rosemary Brown,
Aye.
Cindy Chandler,
Aye.
Pamela Fitzgerald,
Aye.
Robert Lawson,
Aye.
Candace Review.
I don't believe I vote since I'm acting mayor.
You can
Still?
She can.
You
Okay.
vote.
You vote.
I thought she can.
You
Okay.
vote.
Aye. Thank you. All right. Is there any new business? Ms. Fitzgerald?
I don't know if I can bring this up, but I am, because I think the residents should know. There has been a few car break-ins in the village of Woodlawn recently. And I just want to just mention that it's just important that we lock our cars and be safe out there. I know we can probably talk about this later, but I just since it's new business, I just want to say how important it is to to stay safe and to make sure that you're locking your doors, as far as your car doors at night, because I know there's been some issues on my street. So I just wanted to definitely just mention that, how important it is to do that. So maybe we can have a report at another time, but I thought I would just mention it.
Thank you. And I see that Chief Tillman is on the meeting. So Chief Tillman, is there anything that you wanted to add or share related to that?
Yes, thank you. We are aware of those incidents, and it's only because that our citizens have called in to let us know that there's an issue going on in our community, and we act on it very rapidly. However, when that incident occurred a couple weeks ago here up on Timberland, we had just missed them, and it launched into a big pursuit, and the individuals who were involved in that is involved in a theft ring, and the Hamilton County Sheriff's is working their vehicle theft ring, and the license plate information was turned over to them. So we are aware of it. We are increasing our patrols in the residential areas to be on the lookout for that. And just let everyone know that if you do, make sure you secure your vehicles at night, because they were just going through unlocked vehicles and searching for loose change or anything that they can grab. So very important to lock your car and secure it. And if you see something that looks out of place, it looks like a vehicle that don't belong, or someone doesn't look like they belong, go ahead and give us a call so we can check it out and investigate it and get them out of here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Boyd?
I was talking to, I have a sister in the village, and some of the people that she engages with and talks to, they are so proud of Woodlawn and Woodlawn leadership and the municipal building, our police chief, our new village manager, our finance director. And they wanted me to tell you that you're doing an awesome job, and they just really, really, really feel good about Woodlawn and where Woodlawn is going. So thank you. I'm giving you the thumbs up for these people. And they'd like to meet all of you. I have told them to call down to the village to ask if you're in, and they could stop by and meet. Well, I think they know Chief Tillman pretty well, and they know Chief Johnson. They don't know our finance director and our new village manager, but I have told them to call, and if you're there, I gave them the okay. I knew that you would love to meet them. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I definitely do want to meet them. I'd like to meet each and every person. If you see me on the street, just walk up and say, hey, start a conversation. I'd like to hear your point of view, your concerns, and how we can serve you better.
Great.
Also,
Thank you.
happy to meet anybody that wants to meet with finance as well. We're always around.
Great.
Vice
So
Mayor,
I know, I'm
Vice
sorry.
Mayor, can I just add one last thing? Just want to remind the villagers to please look at their newsletters that has all the information about our programming, and they can always call down to the rec center to get that additional information as well. Thanks.
Thank you. So just one last thing to add, a note that we are planning to return to our in-person meetings next month. While COVID is still around, we have seen a decrease in cases. And so we're looking forward to moving back to in-person meetings and inviting our residents to come and join us in person starting next month. So we'll make sure that we share that information with the residents when we get to that point. Yes, Mr. Lawson.
Oh, just one question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, it's not a question, it's a comment. I just want to give a comment for Public Works during the ice storm and the snow that was all outside and on Springfield Pike. I know they probably tried just as good and best that they could to get a job provided for Woodlawn. So I just want to give shouts out. I know it probably wasn't the best for residents. I know we had some residents complain, but I'm quite sure with the service that we had and the staff we had, I just want to congratulate them on doing the best job that they could, because I know they probably worked overtime, and I know it was probably a lot of stuff that they wanted to get done that they couldn't. So I know with Turley here, I'm sure the next snow emergency that we have, we be patient. I'm sure we'll get it taken care of. So thank you, Public Works.
Thank you. All right, if there is nothing else, we need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Council meeting.
Second.
Okay, all ayes.
Aye.
Bye.
All right, thank you, everybody.